Hey guys, welcome to Real Shit Friday. It's Saturday, but bitch, it's still Friday to me. Um, I'm joined as always with my co-host Coco. Hi Coco, how are ya?
Hello, I missed
And
you.
I know I miss you too. We haven't talked to each other in like 2 weeks. I feel like when we don't talk to each other for a while, like I
I
miss a
get
whole lot,
withdrawal.
right? Right? And then of course we have our new host, Noemi. How are you, Miss Noemi?
Hey guys, I'm
I
good.
feel
I'm good.
I feel like we had this conversation yesterday, but only me and Noemi know this because my shit was fucking up. So we had like a whole like 15. It was a good little
It
show
was
too.
good 15 minutes. Yes.
I love it.
A good motherfucking 15 minutes. And he's like, oh, hold on. And if it wasn't for Daquan, we wouldn't have known
Cause
crap.
Daquan be
They
on
called
it
like Carlos. You
though.
you sound like you're speaking to yourself. They called be
Yes.
on it. They called be on it. He sent me a message on Facebook. He's like, "You talking to yourself?" I was like, "Oh, hold on. You know what? You right, right."
Yo, I love it. I love it. Daquan's the best. He makes my job
So
easy.
today, right. So we have a couple announcements. I always like to shout everyone out. So make sure you are all following all of our shows. I know it's kind of getting a little bit harder because we have a lot of shows on the platform on Savage Media Radio.
We
So make
got
sure you're checking.
changes coming. They're gonna have to
Yeah,
block out
change is
sections in their
coming.
schedule.
Change is coming, but for right now, of always, we have Real Shit Fridays coming to you once a week, usually on Fridays. We have Free Yourself, usually on a Saturdays. It could vary, but usually on Saturdays. And then check out KKK Podcast, and that comes out twice a week, usually on a Tuesday or Thursday. Coco, do we have any other ones right now that are
We
weekly?
have one I'm working on, but that's under wraps, and then most likely I'm gonna be taking over a Tuesday since I think we're free on Tuesdays. But that's coming, so I'll just tease you guys for now. But we have one more show coming, and then hopefully we're
Bitch,
gonna have our whole lineup, like our whole crew, our once a week show where everybody's on at the same time. We just gotta get our schedules together because we're making changes and we got all these new people, so that'll be happening soon. I'm excited.
yes. So today's show is our last show before voting day. So
Mm-hmm.
I decided that we're just going to talk about voting and talk about politics because
Ooh,
that's
sounds
something that we
good.
don't really talk about on our show. And
Exactly.
we all hold different
Strong
ideals when it comes to
opinions.
politics,
Right.
strong opinions, but your opinions are valid as long as you vote.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Very true.
So if you
Okay.
didn't vote, I'm not going to listen to your opinions because you had a chance to voice them and you decided not to.
Yep.
So with that being said, who has put in their early ballots? I have. Coco?
Me not. I have not. I'm slacking. Don't beat me up. I'm slacking,
You know
but I
Emmy?
will be there on, what is it, Tuesday?
Nope.
We're doing
Tuesday the
Tuesday.
I'm the
6th.
sixth. I'm the sixth. No, I
See,
have not put in
so
my early
I
ballot.
decided against going to the polls
Mm-hmm.
because of all the events that have been happening as of late with these shootings.
Yep. I
So
got
I
you.
feel
That's
like
smart.
we're going to have a problem on November the 6th
I
at a
get
poll,
you.
and I don't want to be there no matter where
I
it's
got
at.
I
So
got
I put my shit as a gay black man who wears tight clothes, I would probably get shot first. So
I'm done.
me and my
so
black gay ass
done.
husband, we put our
So done
ballots
with
in
you,
the
Carlos.
mail
Yo. Yo, I'm
because you
done.
done with me because it's true.
It's
So
I'm
true.
so dead.
I didn't early vote to get my vote in early. I early voted for my safety.
Okay.
Because these white
Gotcha.
motherfuckers out here shooting everybody. Um
I'm done.
so no, it's
This is why
real.
we get hate
It's
It's
mail.
real.
true.
They're
It's the
shooting
truth.
they're shooting their own synagogues up. Like it
Exactly.
is true. So okay, so I did a set. I had my biggest set the other night at a really popular comedy
I
club here in
saw
Seattle.
all the social media. I was like, "Oh, this got to be important because he got a
Oh,
whole
cause you
marketing strategy and shit with this." I'm like, "What's
and you know I don't
happening?"
post on Facebook. You know I don't
Yep.
advertise on like if this nigga's just advertising on Facebook, it's kind of big,
Exactly. I
right?
was like, "Am I missing something? What?"
Oh, you missed missed it. It was one of my longest set at a nice little venue. I loved it. And my ending joke was I was talking about self-defense and being a gun owner and actually taking taekwondo and actually boxing classes instead of shooting. Like I was like, I'd rather know how to like arm and defend myself with my fists rather than using a weapon, even though I know how to use my weapon. And so my joke was my instructor was teaching me all these type of punches, like a right hook, a left hook, an upper jab, all the punches that come with boxing, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So he also taught me a punch that could take out 20 adults.
Wait, no, I heard this one. No. I remember you told me this one. Guys, prepare yourself. I'm already preparing my mailbox for the hate.
No, Emmy, do you know what type of punch that is?
What?
You know what type of punch can take out 20 adults and 6 kids?
I'm afraid, but what?
A Sandy Hook.
Oh, Jesus.
So it's so fucked up. I don't even know if I'm allowed to laugh. I have no idea.
And that was the response of the club. Everyone was like, ha ha ha. And then the announcer was like, "Yeah, that's Carlos Dillard ending shit with like."
You told me that you said that on one set, and I'm like, "Oh, he's not gonna repeat that, is he?"
Oh, I definitely repeated it, and I was just like, "This is this." Oh, and oh, girl, my comedy just keeps getting darker and darker, I love it.
That's all that matters.
I love it, right? So, speaking of all of that, like. I'm real. I'm not gonna. That's what my comedy is. Like, why would we not joke about something that happened? 20 adults and 6 kids.
Dry humor is the best.
Yeah, taken out. Sandy Hook.
It's been past the time. It's not really past the time because it's never past the time. But like comedic relief time, you're at good timing. Like it's okay. You can be forgiven for that.
But here's the thing: comedy is a space for you to acknowledge tragedy and not take a hit for it. And that's where your safe space is. But I feel like in the last 2 years, our country has become so politically correct that like everyone's walking on eggshells and everyone's afraid to say something. And I'm kind of blessed that I have the characteristics that I do to say the shit, but I'm also a gay black man, so people kind of give me a pass because they're just like, oh,
because you've been through shit.
Right. They're like, he might be kind of like racist against Muslims, but I guess he goes through it too, But I'm allowed to still raise awareness where other folks aren't. Like a white male can't say the shit that I say to raise awareness because you'll get put up on a pitchfork. I want to know, how do you guys feel going into this voting season? How do you feel? What's going on with the country? Like, what do you feel is what's going on with your neighbors and what's going on with your communities right now? I'll start with you, Noemi.
Oh, man. Well, obviously, we, in Polk County, which is the county that I live in here, we, since day one of school, and school started here August 20th, I think. Since school has started, we have had our kids have lockdowns every week at school due to social media threats, due to
wait,
active
not
shooters.
To cut you off. One of my husband's coworkers, her daughter just got expelled from the whole not like the whole district because she did a social media threat and said she was going to blow up the school on Twitter. So people are just doing this. So go ahead, Noemi.
So, like we have all those. Well, we had a kid, my stepdaughter is in high school, and it was September, the first week of September. Kid forgot that he had a paintball gun in his backpack. He was smart about it, went straight to the office and everything, but still, it still puts them on lockdown. Because the child has something that's not supposed to be on school property. That somehow
got passed,
right. But he was smart about it. But here, this past week, I know Carlos might know Florida better than you do, Coco. But Bartow Middle School had 2 girls bring knives from their parents' kitchen and swore up and down that each girl was going to kill 15 random people because they were worshiping Satan and believed in everything Trump says.
Okay.
And like for me, this is our future. So our kids are being corrupted by what's going on now.
You know what's crazy?
You know,
that we can clearly and definably put Trump and Satan in the same sentence and it not be awkward. That's a problem.
Okay.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. We cannot sit here and single-handedly blame one person for the action.
Exactly.
No. We've had this as a country. We've had this hate. We've had these things going on. That man just incited these things. He did not make them happen. He incites them, and he doesn't necessarily say that they're bad. But I hate when people blame Trump for everything, because you can't blame that man for everything. He's a fat year-old, 70-year-old who doesn't even know how to use Twitter right. So can't blame him for everything. Even though I want to, you can't.
Right.
That's true.
And I agree. I think the difference here is that, like, you know, and if you know history with the presidencies and everything like that, you know, throughout time, each president did something great, each president did something horrible, each president was like in between and did both sides of the fence. But for us, I think this has been the most devastating president, and not just by,
I would disagree with you, Noemi. I would say this has been the most awakening president that has actually done. He's done more, not done more, but he has actually confirmed more of what the minority communities have been saying for generations. He's just confirmed it
true colors. It's basically
right.
This is America
for us.
You know,
he was the first president that actually was like, y'all are niggas and we don't like you. And then everyone was like, wow, because every other president played the political game and was like, oh, we're all American. He's the first president so you have to, if we weren't black, and this is the thing, I have my godson's mother is a Republican and she's a Trump voter. Like, for God fucking sake, she took her baby pictures and Trump fucking like shirts and sent them to me and was like, welcome to the family. I was like, oh fucking God. But I for one have been blessed to know that what you decide in your political ideas does not make you that person. Because there have been people who are Trump supporters who have helped me out more than my own community has ever helped me out. Right. So your political ideas do not form you, but your political ideas do kind of give me an insight of what you think. So going back to what this whole conversation is about is going into voting and why do we vote. I think that I don't want to talk bad about either party. Mm-hmm. I want people to use their voice, whatever your voice is. Mm-hmm. And I think that's something that's in our politics, it just goes to nastiness. Like, I see all of these political ad campaigns and everyone's just being so nasty. Instead of just being like, let that person fucking campaign, let you campaign, and then let your fucking people have their voice. And I think that nastiness, we're just talking about school shootings and all of these violent things. If we're not giving our children positive examples of how to actually behave, then how the fuck are we gonna, like, how else do we expect us not to have school shootings and not to have lockdowns? Because we're not giving them a good example. If someone,
accountable.
Yeah. If someone does something you don't like, you just look up the worst thing about them and you spread it out to everyone. Bitch, in high school, that'll get you fucked up. That's literally why we have school shootings. Yeah.
Right.
And then we're like it's usually someone's being bullied and they're done. And then they make a bad decision. You know? Right. And it affects a lot of people that didn't even have nothing to do with that. And I think we, as a country, we need to start taking responsibility for our actions and looking at the adults and looking at what we are doing and being responsible and not blaming the president. Yes, he's a shitty person. We all know that. But what can we do? we can use our voices now and we can go vote and we can
So,
make a
Hmm.
change.
can I actually say something on that point? And
Yeah.
people, I'm gonna say something, and people are gonna think I'm insensitive or I'm a bitch, but it's just the way I am, and I've always been real, and I'm gonna give you 100% me, and I don't give a fuck. But there was a case about a year or so, or maybe it was 2 years, because time flies like fucking crazy. But in New York, this kid was relentlessly bullied by these two boys in high school. I think they were 15 and he was 17 or something like that. And there was rumors that he might have had some issues with sexuality. Just people were picking on him. And these two boys every day would fuck with him in class, and no one was doing anything. No one was, sticking up for him. The teachers saw, but they turned a blind eye because apparently there's just a lot of violence in that school, or not violence, but there's a lot of people getting picked on in that school, basically. So the teachers just didn't want to get involved. So the kid ended up coming to school with a knife, got through front door, and ended up stabbing both of the kids, and one of them died.
Mm.
And it was like a big thing. Big thing. He's in. I think he's in jail. I don't remember. I didn't follow the case after it because it bothered me so much. But I always say, talking about accountability, I always say if you raise your kids, or if you don't realize that your kids are being relentless bullies or being like horrible people, they're 15 years old, they know better, they know from right and wrong how to treat people. If your kids
Hmm.
are coming to school and constantly threatening a kid, teasing them, making them miserable, picking on this one person for their own gain, and someone comes and stabs them, I'm not going to feel bad for your child. Don't go
Yeah.
on TV and tell me, oh, poor me, my kid was not like this. Your kid was like that. Guess what?
And
You
then, but
failed.
here's the sad thing: that other kid just lost their whole life because that's the law.
Exactly.
Can I
Right.
share something with you, Coco?
Yeah, of course.
You know that I got my GED, right?
Mm-hmm.
I never shared with you why I got my GED, did I?
No, no, I don't think so.
So that's funny that you made that story is so similar.
Mm-hmm.
When I was 15 years old, I got my first job at Panera Bread, and we get these scoring knives. Scoring knives are little knives that make little scoring marks on top of
Mm-hmm.
French rolls.
Yep.
And
Right.
they gave us all scoring knives. I was 15 years old, and I was that kid, Coco. I was at my parents. This is before my parents. This is one of the reasons my parents abandoned me because they lost like $60,000. They lost my whole tuition because the school.
Mm.
They didn't expel me, but the school asked my parents to walk away without asking for a refund because I kept getting bullied and bullied and bullied.
Mm-hmm.
And then the kid, one time, there was a plunger in the bathroom, and the boys tried to sodomize me with the plunger,
Oh.
and I fought them off. So the next day, I had no intentions of
Mm-hmm.
stabbing anyone. I had no intentions of doing anything malicious.
Yeah.
But I was after gym class, and I was putting on my clothes, and it was just like a couple of days after they had tried to do the plunger thing,
Mm-hmm.
and they grabbed me again, and I had my scoring knife, and I grabbed my scoring knife,
And you took
and
care
I
of
looked at them,
business.
and well, and I looked at them. I thankfully I didn't cut anyone, and I
Mm-hmm.
looked at all of them, and I was like, if anyone touches me, I will gut you like a fish. And I started screaming and like slashing the knife
That's what you had
everywhere.
to do.
And then I walked straight to the principal's. Well, we had a dean. I walked straight to the dean's office. I told the dean exactly what happened, but I have been telling them what had been happening, and no
Yep.
one
And
was
they
doing.
turned a blind
No one
eye.
did.
Yep.
No one did anything. No one did anything. Or they would like have us sit down with each other. Like I think like twice they had us sit down with each other and be like, "Stop bullying. You're friends now." Like that was like, but that, they still, and then they just bullied me more. So when that happened, they called the police. The police called my parents and they gave, or my adoptive parents, and they gave my adoptive parents are like, okay, well, he really didn't cut anyone. So, but we can get him with like attempted assault and like we can put him in probate or in juvie. And my parents are like, no, we don't want that to happen. So the school just asked that I just don't come back. So with that being said, like 2 months after that, my parents ended up just abandoning. They gave me back to the state, and my life took a different turn. And I've talked about my life in other podcasts, but
Yeah.
that story is so close to me because I didn't go to a lot of kids do plan to school shoot or
Yeah.
they
You
get
don't
pushed and
plan.
they make
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
sometimes you don't plan. Like
It's
sometimes
impulse.
it's just impulse of survival of the fittest and you just get pushed.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Everybody
and
has their
I want
breaking points, and people don't
yes,
understand that.
yes. And I want everyone who's listening to this podcast to know if you're going through anything, just know that there is light. I know everyone says there's light at the end of the tunnel, but like I'm living my best fucking life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because I didn't make that one mistake. Because just like Coco's story, I could be in if I would have cut someone and killed someone, that's the rest of my life. Even though it was justified, that's not how the law sees it.
No.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
and this all goes back to, I think, us being
Parents.
more better parents and more better communities and more we need to start raising our villages, raising our communities, knowing who your neighbors are, knowing who you're like that's what it all and teach your kids if there's a Stevie Wonder song where it's like when it's I think it's called he was like looking back on when I was a little nappy headed boy, he was just like
Mm-hmm.
and in that song he goes play with the nerd, he goes play with that kid who wants to be the doctor, just don't tell him you'll give him everything in the whole wide world. And if you listen to that lyric, it's like play with the nerdy kid and the weird kid.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't promise him everything because like keep your distance, but like play
Yep.
with him.
Right.
And I always, when I hear that song, I always pay attention to that lyric because I'm like, Stevie Wonder was literally telling his siblings, play with the weird kids,
Mm-hmm.
even the ones that want to be a doctor, even the ones that want to be weird. Just don't tell them you're gonna give them the whole world, but play with them
See,
and
Carlos,
acknowledge them.
like I
Yeah.
said, like it just. I'm so glad that we had it turned into this bringing this conversation up because that bothered me for so long because parents are on the TV saying, you know, my kid wouldn't do that. My kid lost his life. This kid's still alive, but your kid lost his life because you chose to be that type of person.
But
Like,
Coco, you heard it full turn.
mm-hmm.
What did my you spoke to my brother?
Yup.
Was I a weird knife wielding person?
No, not
No.
at
My
all.
mom was a crazy bitch.
Yep.
So like I don't like when it came full circle. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, look up Real Shit Friday's interview with Carlos's brother
It was
Chris,
amazing.
not my husband. But like you saw it come full circle.
Yes,
And it was just like,
exactly.
I understand why this kid went through all that shit. His mom was fucking bonkers.
Yep.
Wow.
And it's it
You
is
know?
what it is, but it's sad. We just have to hold ourselves accountable, and it's our job right now as later end millennials to bring up our children and in a respectful manner, or at least let them know the consequences. If they want to be a dick, let
See,
them be
that's
a
the thing.
dick.
That's the
But
thing. But you even have to change your word. And you said bring up. We don't bring up people. We raise up.
Raise
We
raise
them.
up,
raise
very
children.
true.
We don't
Mm-hmm.
bring. Because bringing means you're bringing them behind you. And we want our people to do better than us. So we're going to raise you.
Absolutely.
Raise them up. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I believe in
exactly.
speaking. I believe it's in the words. We don't like it's small things. And I don't know, Coco. I don't know if you've noticed, I'm a whole different person than I was last
You
year.
are, and I
This
love it.
last year woke me up. Last year woke me the fuck up. Like last year was hard for me. And last year showed
Yeah.
me like this is life.
It showed you
And
who
life
to
is
fuck
beautiful.
with, who not to fuck with. Everything. You just learned from a lot, and you're in a better place now. And I love it. I got to see this whole transformation. It's awesome. I'm happy for you.
So next segment before we move on. Talking about manifestation. So we talk about I don't know, knowing me, you're kind of new to the show, so I don't know how much you've listened in the past, but we talk a lot about manifestation. Are you familiar with manifestation?
No.
So manifestation is pretty much are you Christian? Do you pray?
Every now and then, yes.
Okay, oh, you might be a good candidate for manifestation. I'm gonna send you some links. But manifestation is pretty much like when you hear a lot of like what do you call them? Like personal coach, life coaches and like influencers, they'll be like believe in what you can achieve and they have like little sayings, but when you actually
Right.
delve into the energy and the
Mm-hmm.
vortex of the energy of the universe, you can tap into some strong shit and it can be negative or positive. And I've experienced the negative shit and I've shared it, but like I've shared it live. And that's one thing I love about what I do. I can see what I've done in the past. I'm like, damn, your energy was so negative and look at all this negative shit. It was like one after one after one. But then once you started changing your energy, all my positivity started showing itself.
Yep.
So
Right.
manifestation is pretty much manifesting what you want in life. A year ago, I was hating where I was living. I hated like everything about my life pretty much. Besides my career, was going well, but
Mm-hmm.
everything else in my life, my neighbors, everything was just like
Personal
miserable. My
life.
marriage, like my marriage was in shambles. My like everything with my friendships was in shambles. Everything was in shambles.
Mm-hmm.
And I manifested and I made a dream board of everything that I wanted, right?
Right.
And a year later, I have it. And it's not, it's one because of hard work, but it's, for me, I contribute a lot of to that every day. I told myself and I reiterated and I looked at my dream board and I said, I gave myself affirmations like, you're going to succeed. You're going to get what you want. You're going to get the house you want. Now, the reason I'm bringing this all up is because you can also fucking manifest the wrong thing. And I think that's what
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people do.
Mm-hmm.
Coco, what was my most prized possession last year?
What was your most prized possession? Meaning like physical possession? Your car, right?
Yes. 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 I had a bright red Mercedes truck. That bitch, his name was Xerxes, and that was my baby. And I
Oh.
bragged about it and
Yep.
I worked hard for him. But I worked hard for him.
Right.
Yep.
But that payment was killing me. So I started manifesting. I was like, man, I'm tired of this payment. I
Yep.
want to get rid of this payment. And for me in my mind, I was like thinking, oh, I'm gonna get a gig or like I'm gonna get a good gig that's gonna give me enough money to pay off my car.
Yep. That's not
On
how.
July
That's not how it
30th,
happened.
that's not how I did get rid of my car payment. My car did get paid off. On July
Uh,
31st, I totaled that bitch.
And then there you go. Careful what you wish for.
But like literally, I started laughing as soon as it happened. Like the lady was like, "Why are you laughing?" Because I was like, "I no longer have a car payment." Because
Oh
I
God.
knew I had been paying for the best insurance. I had gap insurance. Like I had the best of the best. Like I knew I was taken care of. So I was just laughing because I was just like, man. And I knew that bitch was total. Like I looked at it, and Chris like, oh, it's not total. I was like, that bitch is total. They're not covering this. They're not covering this. They are not covering this. It's total. They're gonna total it out. But then the universe gave me. Then we got our loft got finished, and then our loft comes like free Ubers, and like now I know I don't even need a car. Like if I had a car, I would be mad at myself that I was
Because you have to
driving.
pay this payment and you got all this free shit, so you don't even need to pay this payment.
I got all this free shit. There's one bus, 20 minutes to the city, or take a free lift that the building pays for. Like, I would be mad. And like now I can use that money and now we can like live our dream even better and I can pay off our student loans. Like I'm paying off my student loans now. That's something I didn't think I would start doing until I was 40. But I bring this all up to say is what do you pray for or what do you manifest? And are you paying attention to it? Coco, what have you been praying for and what have you been manifesting and have you been paying attention?
You know what? I actually have because a lot of things. It's really crazy because I've been doing my decorating and I've been trying to get my events kind of booked up again and trying to get that going. But I've been worrying, not even worrying. You know how I have depression and I have anxiety, right? But lately it's been kind of
Yeah.
chill where I'm trying to like handle my shit on my own. So I noticed I was feeling like, damn, I'm not getting enough clients anymore. I never feel like I'm doing good enough, even if I'm doing okay. And I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm not gonna fuck with it because it's things are gonna work out. And I've had that mentality for a couple weeks. Things are gonna work out. Everything's gonna come full circle. Things are gonna get a little bit better. Now, I haven't been hurting for money or anything, but I've been feeling in my mind that I want to be more stable. Like I hate working for people, but I need something more stable until I can get my shit situated. Both of my businesses up and running full force, full time. So I'm like, oh man, I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm not gonna worry about it. Everything will be fine. So I've been keeping that mentality for weeks and weeks and weeks, and then randomly, I decided one day I woke up and I'm like, you know what? Let me look for a job. I don't know what made me think of that because I never say that, but I'm like, let me look for a part time job. I could find something I might like. I could find something that, may be fun to do. I just want to just have something stable so I can know I have at least this bill taken care of in case I don't get clients or in case my show doesn't sell. So I'm on like Indeed or whatever, and I'm like, oh, hiring event for a hotel. I used to work at a hotel. I love hotels. I could totally do this. Maybe they'll let me work overnight. And it was just such a random thing because it was literally
Coco,
that day. And
Coco,
yeah, can you hear me?
Coco.
What?
Yeah, I can I cut you? Can I cut you off?
Yeah, what's up?
Your side hustles aren't working because you just did what you said you just
I
did.
know. I know. I know. I said that to myself the other day. I said that to myself the other day. I was
Just
like, I
so,
just
but
need to
you can
focus.
continue.
I was like, I need to focus.
Focus.
I need to focus, and I know that. But you know what it is? I'm also trying to plan things in my personal life, and I'm like, I need to get that situated before I start thinking, okay, what? Let me get these hustles going so I can feel proud of myself. And I don't know what that is. I don't know what kind of phase I'm going through, but I'm like, dude, I just need to get that money real quick, bank it, and then let me figure out what I want to do with it, what I want to invest in my businesses or whatever. So anyway, back to my story. So I went to this hiring event. It was actually that day, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna. I may get this job. I'm not gonna. Blah blah blah. I'm not gonna like it. Yada yada yada. I started thinking really negative, and then I stopped myself. I was like, wait, fuck it, stop it. Let me go. Let me have fun. So I went there, got interviewed, and then I got the job that day. They hired me that day. And so I was like, by any chance do you guys want anyone to work overnight? Because I have two businesses and I want to kind of keep them going. They're like, oh my God, perfect. That's what we're looking for. Nobody wants to work overnight. And I'm like, what the fuck is happening? I was like, and normally I would be thinking super like bummed
Speak
about
it
it.
into existence.
Yeah, speaking into existence, I was like, usually I'd be getting bummed. Like, I don't fucking want to work for nobody. But it works out perfectly. And you know why? Because like I said, I've been keeping my positivity on point, and I've been kind of like speaking things into existence, like not where I'm like letting my guard down, but like enough where I can like kind of get excited about stuff. And working overnight helps because I can keep my mind occupied because I don't fucking sleep, and then I can also do work for my businesses. So it's kind of working out. I could put my money into my businesses and keep it going and keep it like growing. Hopefully, so I don't gotta do this shit no more, Carlos. Thank you for reminding me. But yeah, so like I said, speaking it into existence, I've been trying to like manifest my good shit and not get so down. I still have my dark moments, but the more you talk yourself out of those dark moments, it's been getting a little bit easier for me. So that was my little
And,
positivity
and
rant.
you know, you have to give yourself time. Like I was like that too, Coco, where I was just like, all right, this is not working. Let's do this. This is not working. Let's
Yeah,
do this.
exactly.
You have to just give it
Gotta be
time. You
patient.
have to just keep like you have to be patient. Like Rome wasn't built overnight. Your business won't
Right.
get built over the next couple of years. But
Hmm.
with that being said, we're gonna wrap up. We're almost at our 45 minutes. Naomi, do you have any last words?
Um, well, I have to say, everybody, with everything that's going on, please, please, please go out and vote.
Yes, please. Please, please, please.
Please.
Can't make change if you don't do anything
Yes.
about it.
Right?
So, yes.
Amen.
And no matter what you vote for, just go and vote. Like
Right.
if after the vote, if anybody comes up to me and talks politics and say, "Well, I didn't vote," bitch, don't speak.
Oh, wait, guys, real
You're gonna
quick.
get a cuss out.
Hey, real quick, guys. We do have some comments because it wasn't loading, and then now we have a shit ton of comments from Daquan. So I gotta catch up. All right. So the first one
Go
was
ahead, Daquan.
when you were talking about your comedy show, and dark comedy and all that stuff that we were agreeing on. He goes, wow, real shit, Carlos. You gotta turn a negative to a positive. Comedy is a perfect medium for smiling, but freedom of speech. So he totally agrees with you, just like we do.
Yes.
I love, like I said, I love dark comedy. I love blue comedy. I love things that are just about real fucking life. Don't give me a knock knock joke. I want to know about struggles. I want to laugh about my issues. Like I don't want that bullshit. So you're on the right path. And then he also says he wanted to ask a question to all three of us. He said, do you feel black people should continue to support the two-party formula, or should we form a multiple-party format that allows a candidate to not have to stick to an agenda
Get
of
your
one
own.
party?
We
Yes.
need the black. We need our own black path. We already had it, and every time you try to create
Yep.
one,
They
We had
can't get
Black Wall Street blew that shit up. Black
yeah.
Panther shot
Hmm.
that shit up. They just keep, but yes, I agree, Daquan. We need our own shit. We need our own
Yep.
shit because we do not. That's why I consider myself a conservative gay atheist because I'm not Republican and I'm not Democrat and I'm not a libertarian because I don't agree with any of y'all shit because your shit doesn't affect me because you're not black.
Mm.
So, but how many black folks do we have in this country? They don't want that to happen. If we had our own party,
If we
oh,
rise, that'd be the end of
uh, uh,
everybody's shit.
uh,
Like,
uh,
Hmm.
so
that would never happen. But
what do you
let's try
think,
it though.
Naomi?
I honestly, I have to agree with Carlos.
Mm-hmm.
Even though per se, I'm not fully black, but you know, it only works if we all come together and do something about it instead of us doing it individually.
Mm-hmm.
Because where the hell are we gonna get? Where are we gonna go if we do it just by ourselves, or if we decide
Exactly.
that we're just gonna cling on to another group? Then we're not gonna be heard for what we want to be said.
Exactly. I totally agree. We
Mm-hmm.
just
I agree.
we need to just get our shit together or stop taking shit from other people. Well, the moment we stop putting our money
Exactly.
where it shouldn't go, the moment we stop, um, the moment we start investing in only our people and only our people's businesses and putting our money back into our communities instead of doing everything else to make other people profit off of our struggles, then that's when we truly
Hmm.
rise. So there's ways to rise above without violence. There's ways to rise above without singling, isolating ourselves. We just need to do it smart. There's whole Jewish
Yeah.
communities, and all there is Jewish businesses, and all their Jewish neighbors and friends go to those businesses. They're doing it the right way. We need to do the same thing. We need to come together and support our own people and put our money in our own people, in our own schools, in our own neighborhoods. And that's when we'll truly be able to
Agreed.
rise above. So, but we'll get there slowly but surely, hopefully. But, I totally agree with you, Carlos, honestly.
No, that's perfect. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us on Saturday for Real Shit Fridays. Make sure you are checking out Savage Media Radio on iTunes. You can get all of our podcasts on iTunes. And last but not least, please get your custom lifelike pillow from lilypbrand.com and make sure you use my code Carlos50. That's Karlos 50. And you'll get 50% off of that pillow. And they're super dope ass pillows.
The hipster pillows.
So
Remember that, guys. Hipster
super dope.
pillows.
So I love you guys. Hipster
Love
pillows. They
you.
are hipster pillows.
All
All
right,
right.
wait.
Talk to you later. Bye.
That's not how
Wait,
we
wait.
end shows. What? Who
Wait,
the
shit. I
fuck is
forget. I
this?
don't end. Okay. I don't end my show like that. Should I end my show like that?
You probably
On,
should, because we've been doing
okay.
that forever. I don't know what you think this
Hey,
is.
I gotta start. I gotta start
Start
doing that.
over.
I forgot. And okay. What do we always,
Take two.
what do we always do?
Stay savage. It's looking be
Stay
shitty
savage,
now.
y'all.
It's shitty now. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Goodbye, guys. Peace out.
Bye,
Bye.
y'all.
Bye.